hopefully people will show up so I don't have to repeat too much substantive material more than once. I always ask, and I had an aha moment yesterday in my other class. I always ask people, did anyone do anything fun over the weekend? And most people kind of give me a blank look and maybe look at their feet and stuff. And I've been thinking, because I've been doing this for a little while, that maybe this generation, it's not all the same generation maybe, but maybe you're not doing anything fun over the weekend. But I started to think that can't be right. I called somebody on it yesterday, and they sort of had to snicker a little bit. And tell me if this is right. So if I ask you, did anybody do anything fun over the weekend? And everybody looks down, gives me a blank look, or what have you, or looks away. Does that mean you didn't do anything fun over the weekend, or you don't want to say anything? Because I might ask you what you do, and then you have to tell the class what it is that you did fun over the weekend. What do you think? Silence. I'm gonna start picking on people a little more. Okay. Anyhow, I didn't do anything fun over the weekend. I guarantee you that. My project has been working renovating a small bathroom. I was chipping tile, laying up new sheetrock, and the like, and trying to figure out how I'm going to get the whole mud bed off the floor. I think I'm just going to rent a heavy duty tool and just jackhammer like and just tear the whole thing up and start all over again. It's not the easiest thing in the world for anyone who's doing home remodel as a career. Think about getting on the ground with a chisel and hacking away at tile, cement. It's not fun. Anyhow.
Don't touch the floor.
Say it again?
Upstairs with it down.
It's a main level. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, don't punch through the floor.
Yeah, seriously, I could, because we do have a basement, but yeah, I've been trying as hard as I can, that way, but Lord, I was talking to some guy at one of these home repair shops, and he was telling me that the house was built in '96, and he said that back then they were, building them maybe a little bit more to last, because there's a lot of that, thin set or whatever is sticking the tile to the mud bed, and it's so hard that, when you're hacking away at the tile, you're breaking into the mud bed.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that mud bed, I'm going, I'm either gonna have to do a lot of repair for it, or just take all that sucker out and do it all over again, so.
These new houses are junk.
Say it again? Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah. What are they laying down in new homes? Is it like backer board or on?
They just plasterboard or what those,
Yeah,
I mean, unless you build a house, don't even think about having bricks on that thing.
Yeah.
They just, you can stick a chainsaw through one side of it.
Yeah.
To the outside wall. I've done it before. You stick a chainsaw through it, cut a hole out.
Yeah. So anyway, that's sort of my hobby, but it wasn't much fun anyway, so. Yeah.
400 grand for a cardboard box.
Yeah, in some places in Suwannee, they're wanting $700,000-800,000 for something that has no plot really. I mean, they're like cluster home styles. Yeah. Anyhow, so couple things. It does take me a little while to grade things. I sort of want to apologize a little bit for that. Because I have two other classes, and I sort of post all my due dates for Sunday at midnight, because the intent is to start reading through stuff on Monday. And what I like to do before I post grades is I like to read through everything, so I have some ideas what I'm working with. And I'm not really like grading on a curve, but I just want to get a feel for the material, and various reasons. But nonetheless, I was fairly impressed with the illustration paragraph assignment. And I don't know, again, I gotta be honest with everybody, when I ask for a paragraph that has at least 5 sentences, and if you give me a full-blown essay, I mean, that's good, but let's not be too good about this, because it is important that all work is original, because it doesn't give me anything to work with if stuff is too polished, and you know where I'm going with this. I'm not being accusatory at all, but I mean, certainly I've had other classes where people wrote very fine essays that would have been upper level college, or if not graduate level essays on complicated subjects over a weekend. And I do know that there's no snowball's chance that person did the research and wrote that essay over that course of time, because I've been through upper level graduate courses, and nonetheless, just, please keep your work original. You're gonna learn from it, you're gonna do it right, you'll learn from your mistakes. I'm not super punitive over mistakes, but it's all what we gotta learn from our mistakes. So what I really want is you all is to do original work, and if you're making mistakes in the work, we're gonna learn from them, and we're not gonna keep repeating them. Because if it's not original work, you're not gonna learn anything. You're gonna get a grade and move on, but you're really not gonna learn things that, about the language, about writing, that, is important to learn. So I'm just gonna take my pitch at that. A bunch of MLA errors, now that was a little disappointing, because that's gonna be 10 points, right there. And some of the stuff, I know we went over it. I think we went over it fairly thoroughly. There are materials out there that, that are in one of the other lessons folders that show you a template of what an proper MLA structure looks like. There's obviously the video, and there's scores of resources out there. If you just put in a Google search or whatever about something about MLA formatting, you're gonna get a lot of stuff, and it's gonna be pretty consistent over what it tells you. You may find some kind of variations where it might say, me as Mr. Lane, me as Professor Lane, me as Instructor Lane. One of the videos it said Prof, P-R-O-F. The abbreviation, I don't really like the abbreviation, it sounds a little too casual, but nonetheless, there's a lot of ways to do it right. For that line anyhow, but it shouldn't be my first name, it's last name only. That's the MLA thing. The header, it's your last name and number one, those sorts of things. So, and I'm not gonna sort of red ink the MLA errors, but what I'm gonna do in the feedback is I'm gonna say there was one MLA error, or there was two MLA errors, or there were three, and it's on you to go back in the source materials and figure it out. If you really can't figure it out after you've tried, we can ask, and it's like, what was it? I'm stumped. But it shouldn't be that hard if you have one of the templates from the other lesson, and you sort of juxtapose that with what you put up there. You can say, well, here I put my first name and last name with the page number. I added something up in the header that shouldn't have been up there in the header, things along those lines. The double spacing head to toe. If you haven't clicked that box, the infamous little box, the guy in the video was talking about to not, or whatever, not to add the extra line in between paragraphs. So if you have it on double spacing, and you won't have that extra line between things. So little things like that. I know it's picky, but I want to put this all behind us, because it's not that hard, especially once you have a template. And again, what I was suggesting is when we went through the item last week, that you save a Word doc, and you might want to name it MLA template, something along those lines. And then the next time you're going to need to write something, you can open up that doc, rename it, for, let's say, illustration paragraph, it's got to be MLA, because you're already going to have the correct names, headers, and then it's up to you to change the date, change the title, change the content, and everything else should be there. The double spacing should be there, etc. So again, it's the tool to help you all lay some track, so you don't have to think about the format of the date. You don't have to think about putting anything else in the doc that doesn't belong. My name will be there, your name will be there, the class will be there. You just change the date and the content. So anyhow, so expect, if you see 3 MLA errors, take your time and go back and look at your doc and go back to the MLA stuff and say, okay, well, let me find 3. If you can't find it, try first, please. We can have a conversation about it. Did anyone go into the Excel stuff that I posted? I put a number of those things out for you to help practice for the quiz next week.
Excel stuff?
The Excel, remember the spreadsheets I showed y'all how to use last week? Yes, no? It's there for your benefit.
How do you get there?
Okay, I'll show you again. And I put these under course resources. And you got these things, subject verb agreement, tense consistency, blah, blah, blah. So, things that we've gone over. So when you get to the content and you hit one of these, the XLS link, as we said last time, you can, don't pay any attention to this, because this is just the Blackboard taking the text from the Excel spreadsheet and just laying it out here. So, it's gonna be page 1 of 3, really? Yeah, okay. So obviously, don't dwell on the content. So we have the download box up here to the right, and you want to hit that, and then you're going to see something like this. And I was working with some people yesterday who had Apple computers. I'm assuming maybe it's just Apple that does this. So instead of giving you a moment to hover and click to open it up, it shoots the doc, it shoots the file link, whatever, down below, and then you got to find it. So I'm not an Apple computer guy, but just be warned. Then you click it, and then what's going to happen is it's going to open up, in Excel, and you've got questions. As you can see, there's 2 little tabs, or they call them Excel worksheets. One's called questions, and then you've got your blanks, Y or N. Okay, so and this is going to grade you on the other page. So if you think this is right, you type in a Y. If you think this one's wrong, type in an N. If you think this one is right, let me say, you just type in yes. It doesn't really matter. So you miskey something, and you type in a B. So anyway, so then you go to the questions with answer page, and then you just look in the errors column, and you see, what did you do right, what did you do wrong? Now see, this was right, because the answer key says Y, but I typed in yes. And the Excel, the doc, is looking for, exactitude, Y or N. Anything else, it is going to automatically show up as an error. But then, of course, if the error, if you answer the question wrong, you put in an N as opposed to Y or vice versa, it's going to show you errors. So then in this column, you see all these errors. So Y was correct, everything looks good. N was correct, looks good. I typed in yes, error. I typed in the wrong letter, error. And all these are zeros here. They're just null values from here, meaning that none of these questions were answered. So, if you missed a question and you see a 0, it's going to show you an error. So that's how it works. Pretty straightforward. I think it's pretty straightforward. People who have used it say it's very, very easy to use. But that's really the long and short of it. So I put these things out there again. I'm not grading it. Try it. Is it going to help you just give you some repetition, some practice for the for the quizzes? Any questions about how to open, how to access, things like that? I'm sorry? I can't hear. Can you say that again? I'm not understanding. Well, I better look at this. Here. Can you expand that? Okay, so you put a figure there. We're working on. And she said, much of this is protected. So because I don't want you to sort of, change things. So let's just say if I want to change this sentence here, boom, it's going to give you a message like this saying this cell is and is this Excel you're using? So, oh yeah, go to the questions with answers on the worksheet there. And that's where you check your work. Yeah, and that won't let you change anything. But you go back to the tab below that says questions on it, and that's where it's going to let you edit this column only. You try to change the question, boom, it's going to say no, you can't do it. So But all this stuff here on the answer key, obviously I'm not gonna let you change anything, because then it's gonna throw everything off. But if in the event, you know, somehow someone was able to sort of break the protection and change any of this, close the dock, open it up again, and you can open up the one that had the original without protection. So, but nonetheless, for your benefit, one of these things is absolutely not required. But honestly, I think we did leave last week saying, here, I'm gonna put some things out there, and if you do them, and we can talk about things that didn't make any sense, we could talk about them. So it's sort of takes away a little material that I wanted to work with today. So do try, because the quiz will be next week, and we'll be covering stuff like this, so, anyhow, and I will put a couple more out there. One other question, I'm not sure if it's this group or the other, I mean, because my two classes, my two 1010s, they're consolidated in Blackboard. And it doesn't tell me, you know, if you're in this one or the one that meets in a little over an hour. Some people were able to go into the practice set today, the sort of the practice, what do they call them now? The two things people have gone into. One is the I should try to multitask like this, but so when you go into lessons, and we're going into this piece of it, the final review homework assignment in grammar test 1. Some people have done it. I'm just curious. You know, and be honest, I mean, if you got into it, fine. I just want to know how. And you got into it, because according to this, it's hidden from students. And, you know, so if you did, you shouldn't have been able to get into it. But if you did, I did open it up, so it can be like a resubmit, because that's gonna be sort of the project for today. It's not too long, and what have you, and it's still not open. I'm not gonna open it up until we talk about all the things that are in it. And then if you are any one of those that did the grammar test 1, well, I got bad news for you, because I'm not gonna use that test. I'm gonna use something different. I'm gonna put my own, and this is sort of like kind of a canned test, which I think is way too easy.
Mr.
And I'm gonna
Lain, sir,
Mm-hmm.
I submitted an illustration paragraph online.
Yeah, so the illustration's fine. But these are the two things I was just curious about, because they should have been locked, and I may have I don't know how they opened up. I know some other admin did it, but anyway, don't be surprised for the test if you've already done it. I'm just going to delete the, whatever's in there, and take it again. So that'll be next week. Okay. Why don't we do this? Because let's kill two birds. Can you all go through those Excel sheets and do them? Let's take about 10 minutes maybe, and just do them.
Where are they at?
They're under course resources. So, pop open course resources. And then we got tense, prepositional, subject, verb, agreement, just 3 of them. Because that's gonna be a big chunk of the test. And I'm gonna post 2 more of these things, 2, maybe 3, tomorrow or the next day, that are gonna have the remaining materials that we're gonna have on the quiz. So what I'd like you to do these, and you go, well, that doesn't make any sense, tell me. So we can sort of make sure people understand it.
You want to click on this and fix the sentence?
No, so let's just say, go back to this, when you have one of these XLSs, there are 3 of them as you can see, you're gonna open one up, and then you're gonna hit this download box here. And when you do that, you're gonna get the opportunity. It's supposed to open up, maybe I already have it open. No, here it is, yeah. You should get some little flag like this, and you wanna click it. It's gonna open up. Then you wanna go to the tab below that says questions, and you wanna click it. And saying is Y or N, is the sentence correct or not correct?
What's the answer key show?
Yeah, you wanna hit questions, the other one down here. And there's no cheating, I mean, you know, the answer key's there, you know, cause it's gonna help correct you, but if you just wanna look at the answer key and put on all the right answers, you're not helping yourself that way, so. Because on the quiz, you're not gonna have the luxury of having the answer key to help you. And if you see a question like this on the quiz, you've seen something like it before, and you'll know what the answer is because you know how to figure it out. Because I'm not gonna use any of this stuff verbatim on the quiz, but there can be stuff like this, sentences that look like these on the quiz, just different language, but similar concept problems. So do you have it open, y'all? Are you good? You got it open? Everyone else? You got it? Okay, you're logging in. Okay, do you have it? Okay, you have it? So, you open up the Excel. I'm gonna take a few minutes to go over the practice sets that I posted. You good? You got it open? Okay. Do you know how to open it? Okay. So what you wanna do is click that, see if it'll do. Open file. Okay, can you go to, I guess go back to file over there, and go, if you would open up, no, go back. No, go back to, the shell. Okay, then do, Office 365. No, sorry, that was the email, Office 365. Okay. It's still churning, but it'll give it a second, it'll be fine. So you got it up. As soon as it opens up, I'll be right, oh, maybe that's something. So then you wanna go to apps. Then click it, and Excel. Well, this is slow.
When we finish this first one, you want us to do something?
Yeah, go do, just, you can leave it open, you know, if you got something wrong, make a mental note of it, and just do the other two. So then you wanna do upload a file. And then you wanna go to downloads, and there you go, tense consistency, double click. Or open something. And that should give you. So, yeah, it's looking good, there you go, then you wanna go to the questions, and then you want to, put in the answers. Okay, you okay here? Okay. You got it? And, you done? Are you doing it on the phone?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, okay, good job.
So I did this.
Yeah.
And when I came to this one and downloaded it,
That's the same one, you wanna go back to the shell? So just hit the X button, upper left. Sorry, wrong one, the purple one, there. Yeah, and then the next one down, prepositional phrases. That one, and then sort of repeat the steps. That's, yeah, you want to do prepositional phrases, give it a sec, and then that one, open up. So you got it. You got it? Got it? Have you got it? Okay.
mine doesn't open.
So. Let's look at, yeah, Excel open, that didn't even show up.
And Mr. Lane is how
Look here.
Yeah,
how do you study like this?
give me one sec. No. So we do this. We do this. Previous. Let me see if there's something. Has anyone else been able to open up the second Excel sheet?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, give me one sec. So I'm gonna shut this down, or I'm gonna go to prepositional phrases, I hit that. It takes a second to come out. It doesn't mean anything to me, so I do this, and I get prepositional phrases. And this one opened up. Has anyone else been able to replicate this? I don't know why it's not working on yours. Unless there's something, there's a lag in there. Okay, you had a question?
This is how you should do it.
Yeah, answer yes or no, Y or N. Then when you're done, check your answers against that.
Okay.
Since you're still in the loop here, maybe.
I don't know,
This doesn't make any sense at all.
It's safe and fun somewhere.
That's where you go.
So we go here, file. Oh, there it is. Don't ask me why. There you go.
So,
So the same thing, basically, just go with questions and then, sentence correct, yes or no.
Mr. Lane, you didn't get to grade my assignment on that was due on the 4th of February.
No, I have not yet. Is there a question? Oh, don't pay attention to this, just work on your own, I'm just doing something else.
Okay. Hold on.
Okay, how far along, people done with, 2 yet? Is anyone not done with the first one, the agreement? No. Yeah, this is just for practice. The feedback I want out of this, the reason why I'm doing this, again, I was hoping you all would have done this at home, is so I would have some idea as to sort of where you are. So if you have a bunch of this doesn't make sense to you,
Yeah.
I wanna work on those things that don't make sense. So I can sort of target the problem area as opposed to going from A to Z, because like I was saying last time, some of this stuff is gonna be very easy to some and not to others, and vice versa. So we're gonna have little things like that go on, so I really wanna target the problem areas, because until, Monday morning, when I woke up, I didn't have access, I really had not seen anyone's writing. Seeing people's writing helps me target problem areas, but we're gonna have a quiz next week, and I wanna make sure everybody's square with these 3 topics, plus another one I'm gonna lay out there in a minute. So, going back, has everyone completed the first exercise? tense consistency, you all completed that? Prepositional phrases, you've done that one, and you, how about the third one?
No.
Oh, you're on the third one, okay.
I haven't done, how did we?
Oh, yeah, it's sort of like, we're going back to course materials, and then we're gonna open up subject verb agreement. And pop that open, and follow the same drill. Open it up. Let me know if yours doesn't pop up, if I need to unplug something or whatever I did, I'll do it again.
Mr. Lynn, what did you just say before just now?
Can you open this one up, or have you done,
Yeah.
so you've done three, this is the third one, have you done the two?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Did yours open up in the back?
No.
It did? You got a bug in this machine, so,
Click here.
okay, yeah, it's, the word did prepositional phrases, what was the other ones? So you go back to second verb agreement, I guess is the one you're on.
Like what?
Yeah, yeah, if you want to click on subject verb agreement.
Right here?
Yeah. And you'll see that it does the same thing, you hit that, and then hit the second verb agreement. Yeah, that one popped up open for you.
Please, please, please.
Who's not done? Okay, well, let's talk. What challenges, apart from using the spreadsheet and downloading, did y'all have with the questions and answers? Don't be shy, it's okay. We need to know, because I guarantee you, like I said the first time, you know, if you wanna raise your hand and say, look, I didn't understand this one, I guarantee you, there's gonna be somebody else in the room who also didn't understand that, who's maybe too afraid to ask, so break the ice, you know, if you will. Because this is gonna be quiz material for next week, so if it doesn't make sense now, it probably isn't gonna make any more sense next week. It's up to you, I mean, how can I help? Was it too easy? I mean, let me throw that out there. Was it too hard? I mean, did anyone get a perfect score on all three of these things? No one got a perfect score?
No.
You did?
No, it didn't show.
Oh yeah, when you go to the questions with the tab here, questions with answers, it's gonna tell you in column D if you had an error. So you go back and check, look at your work. So. So, let me go over a couple of these. So, how did you answer this one? I'm tired of this class, or I'm tired with this class?
No.
My little joke. So, the answer is what? Yes, you're tired of it, or no, you're not tired of it. I'm tired of this class, or I'm tired with this class. One of these are right, one of these are wrong, right? Okay. Y'all good? I mean, y'all, I mean, yes or no? I mean, well, I'm gonna take silence as a, y'all don't have any questions about this? You know, you can do this more than once, right? Practice them, make sure, you know, if you don't understand one of them, you know, you can either trust me, that I got it right here, go back to the book, you know, and look for that little bit of distinction. And we'll look at the test, yeah.
Subject and verb panel.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it says, the mystery has been solved. I put N and I was wrong.
mystery has been solved.
I put N in it's wrong, but it's supposed to be.
Sorry, you put an N, and what did it do?
So for mystery have been solved, I put an N and it put error.
Sorry, which, am I looking at the wrong one?
So 12.
The mysteries, plural, have been solved. More than one. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up, because I'm doing this by hand and I'm double checking my work, but that doesn't mean I haven't made a mistake here, but I'm pretty sure I got them all right. So ask, when in doubt, ask. Okay. Practice. One last thing I want to do, and I actually, over looking at some things here, I'm gonna discard this final review thing, because I think my tools are better, quite frankly, than this. This doesn't have much, and it's going in directions that I don't say, last thought here, I don't like that much. I do want to go over one other chunk of the book that is going to be on the quiz. This is chapter 16 on a complex sentence. And it's one of these things that you know, I could ask what is a complex sentence, and who's going to remember what a complex sentence is, right? Or who's going to really care at the end of the day. You can imagine that it's going to include multiple sentences, typically something with a dependent clause in it. A dependent clause, as you probably know, is something that needs another clause, or needs some extra to complete the idea. You know, because if I said to you something like, you know, because I was working on my basement this weekend, right, leaves you hanging. And people do this stuff all the time in their writing. I may have shared before. Someone might say something like, well, you know, HVAC is, you know, a wonderful career to pursue, period, fine sentence. And then the next sentence might be something like, because you can make a lot of money in HVAC. So if you sort of follow me, I mean, if you put the two sentences together, they'd be fine, but all of a sudden you have one sentence saying HVAC is a great career, you know, at the end, and then the period, then the other, if you just have a sentence in and of itself, which just says, because you can make a lot of money in it. You know, did you follow me where it sort of leaves you hanging? So this is one of these things that come in with complex sentences, and you want to be mindful of them, and just be conscious of it. Read your stuff back to yourself. Sometimes reading out loud helps. I'm going to go to the chapter on complex sentences, Writer's World. So if you would pop this up, I am going to open something else up just so we can have a deliverable for the day, something on these complex sentences. And that'll sort of complete the picture for, you know, the three things, spreadsheets we just worked on, plus this chapter is going to be what, you know, what's going to be on the quiz.
How do you go there for that book?
It's under course materials.
Okay. Which one is it?
Chapter 16.
What's the name of that book?
The Writer's World.
Writer's World.
Okay. So, you know, like I was alluding to, you know, a complex sentence is, you know, in here they got the underlines. You know, you've got multiple sentences, and typically, you know, they become complex when you have one of these dependent clauses starting it. So if I say something like, if bales become wet and are not permitted to dry out, period, right? You just left me hanging wet.
Okay.
You're leaving the writer begging. Similar to when construction begins, you just put a period there, you know, you're gonna drive me crazy, drive anyone crazy, because you wanna know what do you mean, what happens. One way to avoid complex sentences and to avoid any of the pitfalls of punctuation around it is not to use them. But granted, it can get a little tedious if you, you know, if you just broke everything up into smaller chops. You know, going back to my earlier example, you know, HVAC is a wonderful career to pursue, period. Then if you want to just sort of change the thought but not use your dependent clause, you could say HVAC technicians make a lot of money, right? You can just sort of break these things up, keep it simple. You know, there's a lot of wisdom just to keeping things simple, because then all of a sudden you're not gonna break a whole ton of grammar rules, and you're gonna make it sort of, your writing so much easier for the reader to digest. Which is, you know, something I think that people who write are, even speaking, you know, I know I'm way guilty of this, is whenever I write something down, I think it's just crystal clear to me, because I wrote it, you know, I know exactly what I'm talking about, because it's my pen and paper. And I guarantee you, everybody is gonna do that, even when you're giving somebody an instruction, crystal clear to you, but you might not be getting the message across to your reader, the recipient of the information. So keeping things slow and simple, you know, is you know, maybe the best way to do this sometimes. Not to keep the long sentences, don't ramble, and just keep the sort of subject, verb, object. But nonetheless, if you're ever coming into this material, you know, like I said before, you know, the complex sentences, complex sentence, you've got the independent clause, you know, that expresses the complete idea. HVAC is a great career, you know, to be into. It stands alone, but the dependent, you know, again, at least leaves somebody hanging. Let's see. Make sense? Dependent clause? You'd know it if you heard it. Let's see. Let's power through some of these. Do we have a dependent clause or not? Let's see. Well, there's something better in here I think we can use as a hand-in. 236. If you want to go to 236. So which one of these do you think is a dependent clause? After we finish work versus a prepositional phrase? You kind of done, you know, one thing, I mean, to this book's credit, I mean, maybe, is that it does a lot of overlap. So if we start to see prepositional phrases in other chapters more than once, this is one case when they do it. So what are we doing? Dependent clause versus prepositional phrase. This is something you might just see on the quiz. After we finish work, is that a prepositional phrase? Yes or no? Yes? Why? Uh-huh. Yeah, but that's not the right answer. So one key to distinguishing these two things, you're right, it starts with the preposition, but so does the next one down, near the factory. So what's different between those two fragments?
One has a subject and the other doesn't.
That's exactly right. That's how you want to distinguish this. One has a subject, the other doesn't. After we finish work, what? Okay. But if I just say near the factory, okay, what does that mean? You know? Which he did not ventilate. What do you think about that one? All the rule that you know you just brought up, the distinction between the two, difference between the two items. Someone else, what do you think? Is it a clause or is it a prepositional phrase? So you want to ask yourself, I'm trying to stir this up as best I can, I know this can be a little dry. Is there a subject in that item number 3, which he did not ventilate? If you parceled out, parceling out, if you took a chunk of that sentence, would you have a complete sentence on its own? Why not? So, if I could put my hand over the word which, right? He did not ventilate is a complete sentence on its own. That's our trigger here, telling you that that's a clause versus a prepositional phrase. You follow me? On September 12th? Obviously, we got a September, it's gonna be a noun. Was there a verb in there? Mhm.
I don't understand this. If someone says to me, where do you live? And I say, near the factory. That's a complete sentence, right?
No, there's no subject or verb.
You have to say, I live.
Yeah, if you want
near the
to turn that
factory.
into a complete sentence, yeah, of course, we're talking, right? Where do you live? Oh, near the factory, right? That's how we talk. But when you're writing something out, if it's sort of formal writing, you're gonna have a subject and verb in it. I live near the factory.
All right, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mm-hmm. Right. When were you born? On September 12th, right? Convert that to add your subject verb, you got it. So what do you think of number 8? Fragment or clause? Say again?
Yeah.
Which one? Fragment or clause? Or sorry, prepositional phrase or clause? It's a, okay, there's no subject or verb in there, so at the work site is gonna be our preposition, our phrase, rather, prepositional phrase, okay? Does that make sense? I mean, just differentiating the two, okay? Let's see. Yeah, they talk about some things here about subordinating conjunctions, and again, I wouldn't want to have to say commit this to memory, and I wouldn't put down on the test saying what is a subordinating conjunction. But it's going to be secondary to stuff. So some of these things are going to pop up as subordinate conjunctions. If they're used at the beginning of your sentence, you're going to turn something into a dependent clause. Before I went to the store, what? Okay, when I go to the store, what? Since I went to the store, what? One of these kinds of things. So just be mindful, and those things are going to get a comma. A lot of these things, again, I'm not going to go into the weeds with this stuff. It's one of these things where I think you're going to need to know it when you see it, know it when you read it, know how to use it when you're writing. The other thing where this is going to come into play a little bit later with punctuation, because if you want to say, because I went to the store, comma, I came home with a bag of groceries, right? You're gonna have that comma after your subordinating conjunction, because I went to the store, comma. That's gonna be for future practice, future stuff. Let's see. Oh, and here they go into punctuation, because this actually, actually, since it's in the chapter, we're gonna do a little bit of this on the quiz. I want to do one exercise here. This is stuff that we've not done. Okay, what I want you to do, see if we can do this, is I'm going to open up a box, and on page 238, what I want you to do is to copy paste this into the box, the item in practice 3. So you're gonna have to, sorry, just give me 1 second. Practice 3, page 238.
Wrote practice with 2 capital letters.
And terrible keyboard. Save. Okay, so if you refresh, this is going to pop up. New assignment 210. And this shouldn't take more than maybe 5-7 minutes, but this is the kind of thing where it's trying to, it's encapsulating a number of things I just talked about our subordinating, words here and commas that go into it. So, if you would, copy, as, I'm sure you know how to do, copy text.
How do you do this on the page 238
What do you mean?
that you just showed us? How are we supposed to do it?
You want us to go to page 238?
Yeah, go to page 238, it's practice 3, page 238. And then. I'm afraid I'm gonna use up all my space. Save. Okay. So from your side of it, what I want you to do is to fix, underline each subordinating conjunction. So, we sort of talked about that. If you need a little quick reminder, a subordinating conjunction would be, because HVAC is a great career, comma, I'm gonna make a lot of money down the road. So,
I need some
because
assistance to
HVAC is
copy
a
this. It's not
great
going
career,
through.
comma. I'm sorry.
It's not going through.
I'm sorry, what is it going through?
This text here.
Oh, yeah, just go to the, there, I loaded the text for you. So
I got it
You
now.
don't have to copy paste anything, okay?
So don't copy and paste anything?
Yeah, just use what I got here, I just did it for you.
Go back to
So,
lessons.
yeah, go back to lessons, and then there's one titled New Assignment 210-26. I'm gonna look at how the, in the student side it works. So you wanna just go,
I need to refresh it.
yeah, probably. Lessons. New assignments, 145,
This one?
yeah. And, I hit view instructions to the right. Yeah. And, yeah, then what you're gonna have to do is I guess just copy the paragraph and then just fix the underline and then, have the comments.
On there.
Copy it,
Yeah.
and then paste it down here in this,
Yes,
submission.
yeah.
How do we put it in there? Just click right there, and
Double click, then right,
paste,
there's so many ways to do, yeah,
No,
then
for
paste.
and then just fix this.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'll just give you a hint for the first one, when it says underline each subordinating conjunction and add 5 missing commas. So the first one's gonna be, when architects design buildings, they must consider, when architects design buildings, that's your subordinating conjunction, comma, they must consider both form and function. So let's just see if we can power through this and get it, because this would be, quiz-like stuff, subordinating conjunctions. They're gonna be our, like a little demon throughout the course. Is they fit into sentence fragments, run-on sentences, and all sorts of other things. So, yeah, I'll be right there. Question?
Yeah, so are we copying the actual text into the submission box? And then-
Yeah, just copy the whole thing. Oh, got it, you got it, so. You got it?
I think so.
On your phone, were you able to do it on your phone?
Yeah, pull up I still gotta go in and do the questions,
Okay.
but I was able to pull up all 3 of the Excel sheets.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just say if you can highlight when architects design buildings. At the beginning. First.
You told me?
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, good. I'm just saying, you had a question, I'm not sure for me.
Oh, yeah,
When they design
yeah.
buildings, and then just, where's that underline, so.
Why Right, we gotta underline that?
Yeah, underline, you know, the instructions underline the subordinating conjunction, so when architects design buildings, that's our subordinating conjunction, then we know it has a comma next to it.
Mr. Lane, can you
Yeah.
show me which other commas should be added as well?
Say it again?
Can you show me which other commas should be added on it as
In
well?
the first one?
Yeah.
So in the first one, underline when architects design buildings, and the comma goes after buildings.
Right. And the second?
Well, y'all practice that, we'll go over it before we submit.
Mr. Lane, will you take a look at mine?
Yeah, when we're done, I wanna go over it as a group. So where are we at? People done, ready for?
Where do you have more commas in here?
So it's telling you there's 5 commas that need to be added. That's the only hint. Yeah, and underline the subordinating conjunctions. So. It's like I was showing here, if I wanna underline the subordinating conjunction, I just highlight when architects design buildings and I hit the U. That's giving me the first one. So how many are done? 1, anyone else? So 2, okay. What pattern emerged from, when you have a subordinating conjunction
Where do we have more
and need a
commas?
comma versus those sentences you didn't? So there are 8 sentences, the last one they've done it for you, so I'm gonna throw that out. So there are 2 sentences, obviously, of the remaining 7 that need commas, that do not need commas, 5 of them do need commas. What is the difference between those sentences? One major one that I hope would have stuck out actually. So I'd like you to have that as a takeaway, so you're gonna know when you're writing, you've got a subordinating conjunction, you know when to put a comma in. You wanna take a stab at?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Subordinating conjunction, is that a new term?
What do you mean by new?
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it's, it really doesn't come up in everyday speech, does it? But no, it's been around for, probably centuries. Just a grammar definition, but, so subordinate meaning, it's depending on something, it's subordinate to something, right? And it's the conjunction that when you use it, I'm gonna give you a hint at the beginning of the sentence especially, it necessitates a comma, so. With that hint, what's the difference between the 5 sentences that you need to put a comma into versus those 2 that do not need commas? Anyone?
The ones that don't need commas are already right?
Yeah, yeah, two of the top 7 sentences are already right. And there's something about those that are, you know, kind of to what you brought up earlier, that differentiate them from the others. So, how about the first 2 sentences? We can use maybe that as an example. When architects design buildings, subordinated conjunction, comma, they must consider both form and function. So think about that sentence for a second. Let's go to the next. Some amazing architects face criticism because their designs are unusual. What's the difference? I'm just give you a hint. That sentence does not need a comma. But what's the main difference between the second sentence and the first sentence? And one begins with a noun. Some amazing architects. Okay? The other doesn't. It begins with the subordinated conjunction. Now you can see, you know, some amazing architects face criticism because their designs are unusual. That's a square sentence. But what if I inverted that, you know? And what if I said because their designs are unusual, comma, some amazing architects face criticism. So we kind of have like a, you know, inversion, and that's what's going to help tell us when we need a comma, right? That makes sense? I mean, you know, if you start with subordinated conjunction, as sentence 1 does, sentence 3 does, and sentence 4 does, you know, when Jorn Utzton presented his designs for the Sydney Opera House, comma, right? He faced opposition. After builders completed the structure, comma, journalists criticized it. Make sense? Some of these things are starting with the, something other than a noun. So when you get to this one, people phoned and complained whenever radio shows discussed the building. It starts with our noun. So that's one way to, you know, you see how this is differentiated.
With a comma?
People phoned and complained whenever, that's a good sentence. Because the roof looked like broken eggshells, comma, some people were confused.
Oh.
You see, we've got two clauses here, right? One is dependent, one is independent. And when you're starting with the dependent clause, you know, with the subordinated conjunction, it needs something to finish the thought. You know, if I just said, because the roof looked like broken eggshells, right? I'm hanging here. What? Some people were confused. You know, and that's where you get the comma. So y'all follow this? We just went through the answers. Subordinated conjunction. Difference being when you start a sentence with something like because, or when, or after. You know, you're gonna end up with a subordinating clause. You're gonna need a comma, and you're gonna need something to finish the thought. But vice versa, you would need to, you know, almost like avoid a grammar rule. You know, be sort of interesting. I mean, if you wanted to rewrite this and get rid of all the subordinating, you know, clauses, you know, you could just say something like, you know, architects must consider both form and function when they design buildings, right? And just do the inverse of all. Some amazing architects is already good. You could say John Utzton faced opposition from local citizens when he presented his designs for the Sydney Opera House. Wouldn't need a comma. Just, you know, where you're juxtaposing things. Make sense? Hope so. This will be on the quiz. So, if you would, you know, finish this up, underline what needs to be underlined, comma what needs to be comma, and just go ahead and submit it, and I'll save the last couple minutes for any questions. Question?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for the last sentence about building.
Okay, so today the Sydney Opera House is a World Heritage Site because it has a beautiful.
I would assume that there would be a comma after a World Heritage Site.
Why?
Because of the word because.
But you look at the patterns here. We're starting our sentence basically with the Sydney Opera House is. So, you know, we have our strong, you know, our dependent clause at the beginning. And then we're just finishing it with the, finishing the thought. Kind of like with, let's look at the second sentence here. Some amazing architects face criticism because their designs are unusual.
Comma after criticism.
No, not here. See, this is, when we start the sentence, if you would start the sentence with the word because, you could say, because their designs are unusual, some amazing architects face criticism. See how we're sort of like inverting things? But if you begin the sentence with the because, or the after, or the when, that's when you're creating this subordinating phrase, and that's when you need the comma. And I would argue, if you want to avoid the grammar around this at all, don't start anything with because. Because I just start trying to say out loud, how you could redo this whole paragraph without any subordinating subordinating conjunctions. Nonetheless, just be mindful. It happens all the time in people's writing. People forget the comma when they start with the subordinated conjunction, and don't get confused by just because you have the cause that you need to have the comma. So it all depends where in the sentence it falls. Make sense?
Johnny can take a look at mine.
Well, good. I'll post another exercise of this stuff in the Excel. We'll have the quiz next week. So that'd be the homework is decided for the quiz. Make sense?
What is the best way you think to study for the quiz?
I would recommend going to the Excel sheets that we just went on and just go over them and make sure you understand them. And if something isn't clear, go to the book and look at some things, some rules around when you have an S at the end of the verb, or what have you. Yeah, please submit this before you go.
Mr. Lane, can you come take a look at mine?